Jesus more.
So, my dear brothers and sisters, the first reading that we heard today, again, it has become obvious that Saul wants to really kill David now. In chapter 18, now we are reading chapter 24, we see there are three attempts that Saul makes to kill David. The first one, he tries to pin him on the wall, and it didn't work. He escapes narrowly. And then secondly, he sends him to battle, the fierce part of the battle, so that he will be killed by the Philistines. And it didn't work because David was always victorious in his battles. And thirdly, he asked him to marry his daughter, Michal, and said, to marry my daughter, you're going to bring for me the 100 foreskins of the Philistine army. He knew that was impossible to do. But David went and brought 200, not only 100, he brought 200, and it became almost impossible to destroy David. And therefore, he set out now to kill him physically. And now he takes 3,000 men in search of David. And David is on the run out. He knew that his life is at stake, and that he had to escape. And now he's moving around. He's lost everything. He's lost his freedom. He's no longer free. He cannot be back at home. He cannot be even with his family. So he's a fugitive. He's running away for his life. But now this opportunity comes that in a cave where they were hiding, Saul suddenly goes inside there, and there is every opportunity to kill Saul silently, and nobody would know about it. Even his followers tell him, the Lord has delivered your enemy in your hands. Okay? It's an obvious thing. If I was in that situation, I would feel the same. I would feel, this is God has made the table before me, and I'm just meant to eat it. That is obvious that God wants me to destroy this enemy. And I think, what do you think, what would happen to you if your enemy falls in your hands, right? You say, good for you. In my local language, I don't know here in the Philippines, I was trying to think yesterday if there is a word for that, but in my local language, if for instance, given a scenario, if something is happening, if somebody does something bad to me, and something terrible happens to him, there is an expression that we use for that. They will say, "Nto," okay, "Nto," meaning good for you. I don't know in Iliganon if there is something like that. Miresi, okay, something like that. But I mean, they will do like this, "Nto," meaning good for you. And I think this was a situation where David would say, yeah, good for you, "Nto." That was a situation. Remember, we would think that the greatest battle that David ever fought would have been to destroy Goliath, right? That would be the biggest battle that we think about. But I think the biggest battle that David ever won was to destroy his own anger, to destroy his anger, to destroy the devil himself, who said, now this is your enemy, destroy him. And David was able to destroy his own anger, to destroy his own envy, to destroy his own vengeful soul, his vengeful spirit, that thought it's important for me now to destroy this man. In fact, what he did was not only to destroy Goliath, but he destroyed the devil himself. I think it's a very difficult thing for us, especially because we go through this all the time. When we find situations in life, when we find our enemies stumble and we laugh about it and we say, "Oh, it's good for them, good for you. Good for you, whatever thing is happening for you, deserved." We always feel like that. But this is not it. This is what David teaches us. And the book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 17, it says that do not laugh when your enemy falls. And let not your heart exalt when your enemy stumbles, lest God be angry with you and withdraw his wrath from your enemy. That is a very important thing, because this comes from Solomon, the son of David. Maybe he might have learned that from the example of his father. But St. Paul already says this, especially in his letter to the Romans chapter 12, verse 19. He says, vengeance is mine. Vengeance is mine. And he says that if your enemy is hungry, give him something to eat. If he's thirsty, give him something to drink. And by so doing, you'll be heaping hot coals on his head. Pay back evil with good. And this is exactly what David did. He did not revenge. He did not say, this is an opportunity. This is what God wants me to do, to kill this man, to destroy him. In fact, David stepped on the devil's tail itself and said, I am not going to do this. I am going to pay him back with good. When I think about it, it's the most difficult thing to do. It is not an easy thing. I experienced something like that long time ago. I expressed this in many, I think, here in situations when my aunts who supposedly had killed was responsible for the death of my mother, fell sick, was blind, almost getting blind. And my father called me and said, your aunt is sick, can you do something for him? At that moment I said, no. Good for you, you deserve it. But my father said, no, you don't have to pay evil with evil, you have to pay evil with good. And I think this is one of the greatest battles that we have to fight every day, my dear brothers and sisters. And David gives us a very good example that even though Saul was looking for him to kill, he had the opportunity to end all of that and return back home and be welcomed by his people, because his people loved him. But he left everything in the hands of God, because like St. Paul says in Romans chapter 12, verse 19, vengeance is mine. Surrender everything to me. He still had it in mind that this battle is not his. Remember 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 47, the battle is not mine, the battle is of the Lord. The battle is not ours, it is of the Lord. It doesn't matter what people do to you, keep your eyes focused on God. Remember, the battle is not yours, the battle is of the Lord. But if we stubbornly want to do it our own way, then God withdraws his favor from us and say, okay, since you want to fight it, I'm going to watch you. Psalm 91 verse 8 or verse 10, I don't know, verse 8 or 10, it says that yours is only to watch and see how the enemies will be put to shame. If only we can let God do it for us, then we only have to keep our eyes focused on God at all times and let him fight our battles.
Kiss us, mother, kiss your children. Bring God's blessings from above. With your mantle blue enfold us in your gentle holy love. See the darkness dissipating, hear the trumpet echoing, Satan's rage